Hey everybody, how's it going? David G again, back with Faith and Perspective. And first of all, I want to thank you guys for jumping in, checking out the video. Hopefully, y'all hang out till the end and check out the whole video. I may or may not drop something big at the end. We'll have to wait around and see. So, actually, I want to get into it today. Today, we're going to be talking about mindset, and I've really been thinking about this a lot. And the reason is because the right mindset will shift you into a positive perspective. That will empower you to believe you can push through any challenging situation or circumstance that stands between you and the fun, fulfilled, successful life you've always wanted. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So what is a mindset? First of all, I've heard it a million times. I'm sure you guys have heard the word mindset. Well, just a real super simple definition of mindset, that's basically just your default thought pattern. It's the way that you've been trained, or you've been conditioned to think. We all have these mindsets. We all have certain things. Some of us grew up hearing that, oh man, you're awesome. You can change the world. You can be anything. You can be the president of the United States if you want to. And, so we developed confidence. We developed a mindset of, you know what? Yes, I can. Me personally, I grew up with a really great dad. He was an amazing guy. But he didn't give me the answers very often to anything, whether it was homework, whether it was a problem with the car, whatever it was. He'd be there and he'd say, okay, son, I know what to do. So, okay, go for it. And I'm sitting there wondering, hey, so what do I do? And he said, well, I'll be here, to answer any questions you have, but figure it out. And so I grew up with that. So my default mindset, my default thought pattern is, you know what? How can I figure this out? Case in point, when I went blind, there again, guys, I've talked about this before, and it's not the only thing I can talk about, but it's probably one of the biggest. It's one of the most noticeable, especially if you guys recognize that I may or may not be looking at the camera. Yeah, but when I went blind, okay, so full disclosure, I spent about 6 to 9 months, maybe close to a year, being completely lost, not knowing what to do, not knowing where I was going to be. It was a totally new challenge, right? It was something I had never dealt with. I had never had to go through that. Who am I if I'm not the guy I always was, before, and helping people and driving back and forth and doing all this different stuff, but it was a new challenge, and I had to shift my perspective about some things, but the very first thing I remember was needing to do something, and when I came up on something that I needed to do, everybody wanted to do it for me. And for a little bit, that was great because I just didn't feel like doing anything, honestly. I fell into this depressed state, and it was kind of tough. But what happened is eventually I had to sit and say, you know what? I can figure this out. I can figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to do the things that I've always done, but in a completely different way. And so when I started to do that, man, I started to shift my mindset. I started to shift the way I was thinking, not so much away from what I grew up with, but away from what I was feeling in that moment. Because in that moment, I was feeling defeated. I was feeling lost. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling worthless. If I can be that honest today, I was feeling worthless. I couldn't work a job. I couldn't support my family. All the things that I had grown, that in my mindset, that's what you were supposed to do. So I was going through all these thought process. I was going through this really, like I said, it was a tough time in my life. And this might be the most I've talked about that. I don't know. Check out some of the other videos. Maybe I've talked about some of this a little bit before, but the crazy thing is in that moment, it was negative. Everything was negative. I can't this. I can't that. I don't know how to do this if I can't do it the way I did before. And so I had to shift my perspective. I had to shift my mind, my frame of thought. away from all the negative and find something positive. And the first positive thing I found was that, I can figure this out. I can do this. I've had some previous success in life. I've done some cool things in life before. I have figured out how to do things before. This is just a new thing that I've got to figure. And so when I started to do that, when I started to shift my mindset, I started to find the right thought pattern that was going to press me forward, push me forward to something more positive, to believe in myself. That was a beautiful thing. That positive perspective, like I said, it empowered me to think, I can do this. I can do this. This is tough. This is crazy tough. I've never had to do this before, but I can do it. I talked before about choice. I choose being two of the most powerful words in the English language. And in that moment, I chose to shift my perspective. I chose to take on a positive perspective. I chose to believe I could do this. Now, did I have help? Absolutely. I had a great support team. I believe that God was there to help me through those things. But at the end of the day, nobody can make your choice for you. We have to choose that mindset. We have to choose to remain positive. Today maybe you're going through something difficult. I don't know. Today maybe it's a struggle. Maybe you just lost a leg. God forbid, maybe you just lost a leg. But I know a guy that lost both legs. And he decided that even though he couldn't do the things like he normally did them, he wasn't going to give up. He was still going to live a fun, fulfilled, successful life. This guy was a preacher before that. This guy was also my dad. And so, rightfully so, I was amazed because I watched him work. I watched him do all this stuff growing up. He had his own business, he had so much going on. He was a musician, played all these different instruments. Great guy. But then he lost 2 legs. He actually lost a couple of fingers too, and that whole thing. And he couldn't play music the way he did before. And he was defeated for a little bit. For a little bit, man, it would get him down. And every once in a while, it would still come back to him. And it would still bother him. But he'd remember, but there's still so much I can do. He's like, I can't play an instrument anymore, but I can sing. Whether he could sing good or not, which actually he was a great singer, he sang. That's what he did. And his mantra was, if I've got my feet, then praise God. If I don't have them, then I've got my hands. If I don't have my hands, then I've got my voice. And so he went on, and he actually passed away back in 2008. But you know what? He died doing what he loved to do. He loved to sing. He loved to speak. He loved to teach. He loved to preach. He found a way to be fulfilled, to be successful, and to have fun and do those things, even in the middle of everything he struggled with. Even in the middle of all these challenges, he figured it out. How did he figure it out? He shifted his perspective. Sometimes that was a daily thing. Sometimes for me, it's a daily thing. I have to shift my mindset every day sometimes. But it gets easier. Over time, it gets easier. Easier and easier to be positive, to have that mindset. You know what? Oh, we could complain about all the things going wrong in the world because there's so much jacked up mess in the world right now. But the one thing I can control all day, every day, is how I react to it. And I choose to stay positive. I choose to develop a positive mindset because that is the power that I need to continue to push through every challenge and circumstance in my life, to be beautiful, to live a great life. And I'm telling you right now, it is a great life. So guys, I want to tell y'all, you know what, today, be encouraged. Have a great life. Choose it. Choose your mindset. Choose your perspective. If you've got a faulty default thought pattern that puts you into the negative every moment of every day, start with one thing today. Start with one simple thing today. When you wake up the next morning, don't even wait to wake up. In the next 5 minutes, say, you know what? I'm not going to be negative. It's that easy. You don't even have to come up with something positive to say. Just declare, I won't be negative. For the next 5 minutes, I won't be negative. And see how that impacts your life. See how that changes. Let me know down in the comments below if you're going to try this, or if you've tried it before and if it worked, and if you tried it before and it didn't work. Either way, I want to know. I want to know when you guys check this out, when you guys watch this. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's happening. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out to the end of the video. I actually gave away some of what I was going to talk about during the video. So there we go. Here's something I will tell you guys, though. I'm really considering starting a group that we can go in, a community. I really don't want to just be some guy talking on the camera. You know, I don't want to be some guy in front of you. My mission in life really is just to spread hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And any way that I can do that, that's what I'm here for. So I'm really thinking about starting a group. I'm thinking about maybe, you know, some kind of group, a community where we can get together and we can talk, where I can hear your comments, where we can talk, maybe even once a month we can do a chat, you know, where we go in and whether it's through Zoom or through whatever platform, there's so many different ones now, where we can go in and we can just kind of have this community of support, being there for each other and encouraging each other. So that's just something I want to do going forward. So thank you guys for hanging out, and as always, have a beautiful day.